The conference has changed my life. I've only been here for 2 days and yeah, it's changed my life. The people that we're hearing from and the speakers and just the people that we're meeting and the conversations that we're having, while it's sad, it's comforting to know that there's so many people sitting in this room with me that feel exactly the same way as what I do, and I feel like I'm not alone anymore.
I just really wanted to come to CATSINaM because last year I felt really inspired and it gave me that passion and it reignited that fire within me, and that's what I was hoping to get this year.
So barriers in the health system, I definitely think there's a lack of support, not just Aboriginal nurses, for nurses in general. We get burnt out very easy and I think our voices aren't heard. From an Aboriginal perspective, there is so much racism. There's so much racism and that's what kills you. It's good to come here because I can kind of find strategies to cope with it, yeah.
We have to be strong and fight together and be vocal and know that we are educated enough to educate others.
The take home from this conference is that we're just continuing. We're such a strong and resilient people, you know, and it's so empowering to come and see all the students, to see our elders that have been fighting this fight for longer than I've been alive. And if our elders can do this, they've done it for so long, then we can do it, and we need to keep doing it and inspiring the younger generations coming through that they can do it, and we're here to guide them. We're all one mob, and I truly believe that. I truly believe that we're all one mob and we need to support each other, network, reach out and know that we're not alone. It's difficult, it's challenging, but it will get better. I truly believe it will get better.
Yesterday I talked about the curriculum as a garden, and I said that we should look at in our institutions where Indigenous health is in the curriculum garden, and I joked that it was usually a small spot at the back close to the compost, and sometimes this is the only place there's natives in the garden. Actually, in some places there's no natives, even in the Indigenous health part of the garden. But sometimes it's the only place there's natives in the garden. And I want to reflect on that because sometimes we have to acknowledge that westernised models of health do have at their heart colonial ideologies and assumptions of white superiority, and that we have to face up to that. If the little dark spot in the garden is where Indigenous health is taught, this is precious because the rest of the garden teaches the status quo, and the status quo teaches inequity, and it teaches inequity that's measured and felt by Indigenous bodies. One of my aunties, her favourite saying was, if we always do what we've always done, we're always going to get what we've always got. I guess in respect to our curriculum and our work in training, Auntie Wairiti was telling us we really have to take over the garden, because if we're just a decorative or performative part in the garden, we are still going to get what we always got, which is the health status of Indigenous peoples internationally, which is inequity and injustice. I'm committed to taking up space and reclaiming sovereignty, and I think this is important for us to work out, each and every one of us, where is it safe for us to take up space on this issue of cultural safety and Indigenous health in your institution, in your practice, today, tomorrow, this year and into the future.
The health system, and I talk national, and also the education systems in Australia, I think driving cultural safety into them and putting that evidence behind it as well. I think we've got the beginnings of that, but I think we need to take it a lot further and put some accountability in there as well. So hold institutions to account and say, you know, you've let our community down. When someone goes into your health service and they don't get good care, or they actually suffer and their health gets worse because of that care, then you have to be accountable to yourself for that.
All my message is really, and I know it sounds like I'm wanting you all to go to remote, but I do. You know what I mean? It's because you got to. Our people remote need us because they've got no choice. In urban and everything, if they don't want to go to the Victorian Aboriginal Health Service, they can go to St Vincent's. You know what I mean? Out there, they've got nothing. And I don't even know if they, you can tell them things. People are doing things that, you don't understand what's going on, people. This is why I'm glad I'm on this panel, to open your eyes and just like understand the pain I go through some days. Simple things. Oak Valley has 20 houses, 10 for staff, 10 for the community. Flushing toilets are in the staff houses. This is how our people are being treated still. Our community have to go out the back still with a drop box. And the staff have flushing toilets? Come on. These poor people out there, you know, they don't know because they're so remote. They just say yes, yes, no problem, yes. Oh, we're going to do this. Yeah, that's fine. Yes. You know what I mean? They're being so controlled still. So, yeah, I've probably got off track, but I just got, I just get so passionate, it just breaks my heart, you know? And with all these fabulous nurses and midwives were coming through, and it's just like, I know the big hospitals are fabulous and all that, but you know, I'm thinking of our people. Our people need us. They really do.
Change is going to come. Whether people are ready for it or not, I think we're in the best position that we have been to start to bring these injustices and the needs of our people, to bring them to light, and we are a really good cohort to do it.
I think that as, you know, some of our resilience as Aboriginal health practitioners, and you know, midwives, nurses, we learn to keep our emotion down. And coming out of that session and listening to aunties there talk about their stories and the discrimination, the racism that they experienced, it makes me proud that they was able to overcome that, but it makes me sad because we still experience that. And I think that there's so many non-Aboriginal people out there that think that it's not like that anymore, and it is. It's still very much like that. And we talk about, we have come a long way, but then when you hear those stories, the narrative's still the same for us, for our women. And so I felt really sad, I was really emotional over lunch, just because, you know, some days we feel really strong and some days we feel tired, and I feel tired today.
I had put a lot of thought into what to present because I work across such a big area, vast area of Aboriginal health. And like I said in the opening, I was disappointed at the consistent negative discourse around Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nursing and midwifery. So I deliberately chose to represent my PhD findings to demonstrate that their story or their experience is not new, that it's a story that we've been able to capture with evidence now for almost 2 decades, and that their story is all of our story, but we can't continue to make that our whole story. We need to make a concerted effort and a commitment to disrupt that or make it the minority story. And the story needs to be about what I said, persistence and self-determination and success of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nurses and midwives. I challenge you every time you talk about one of your struggles at university to also mitigate that negative story with something positive, because there's a number of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that will never have the opportunity to go to university. There's a number of our people that barely know where their next meal is coming from. So when you compare our situation, where we think that, you know, we're feeling a bit sore and sorry for ourselves, that you need to really pull up and think about what a very privileged position we are to be able to even be enrolled in a university.
For me, it's more like I walk away from these conferences just feeling a little bit more of a sense of belonging and pride for what I am doing and knowing how important and how much of an impact it's going to make.
When our nurses and midwives, if they're so confident and proud of who they are, where they've come from, they've learned their own way, their patient care will be immeasurable. We are already midwives, nurses, students. We're there for a reason. Let's get the job done. And I know we talk about resilience a lot and being resilient. I mean, we were born into that. So we already know. We've got that thick skin already. We just got to make sure we get the job done. So we are here and we can keep continuing that until it fades off, because we won't get anywhere if we allow those barriers to attack us constantly. And it is about holding your head up every day, you know, and we know that it's a simple thing of walking into a bloody shop and you already know you're getting watched. We know that, you know, but we still continue to go into that shop and buy. So what's stopping us finishing this degree or continuing to work in those systems? We've got to do it. We just got to keep continuing.
Larry Davis, in his book, wrote in 2000, "In every age, there exists those people who rise to the challenge of their times. They see a way to bring a gift to the world that will meet pressing needs or solve difficult problems. They see the way to expand the possibilities of human life. They are not deterred by predictions of failure, but they are drawn forward by hope. They are energised by faith and commitment and sustained by inexhaustible energy and spirit. Often their dreams seem impossible, but those who succeed give us our very lives."